connected to death like strangeness is to Strangetown, the Spectre household holds more mystery than any other family around. Its family bio reads: who is buried in Olive Specter's garden? Will the mysterious aging outcast leave her fortune to her niece Ophelia, or as rumoured, to an unnamed heir? An unnamed heir, mysteries running wild in a garden full of graves. Does this speak Sims 2 lore? We'll talk about the unnamed heir a bit later on as I progress through the story, but meanwhile, let's get to know the Specters. Olive Specter is at the end of her very eventful yet tragic life, being 2 days away from death, but she still holds herself in this veil of secrets, making sure I know I'm quite intimidated by her. Her bio reads: Olive will stop at nothing to get what she wants. She spends her time collecting mushrooms, sharpening sticks, and excavating her yard. As it goes, Olive has a lifetime full of death, but let's start with her memories from the day she was born. She has her toddler skills and remembers her sister Willow growing up and meeting this early demise. And right when she was a teenager or a child, a sim named Danielle Greaves tragically passed away in her lot, and by the looks of it, the sim was a pizza delivery person. What's her ties with Olive and the Spectre family? I have no clue, but some people suggest she died on the lot after crossing Olive, who seemed to attract death as much as sugar to ants. Her next memory consists of getting a job at the slacker career, one she kept for her whole life. She also shares a first kiss with early pun named Demise, getting a promotion, falling in love, getting engaged, and being tragically left by the guy at the altar. I believe in the same night he got his early demise, because the memory follows up as soon as the failed marriage. And there's more to it, because Timley Demise, Mr. Demise's brother, also gets the short end of the stick, along with a sim named Seth Zaidi, and another one called Patrick Jones, who I have no clue how they ended up in her garden. Next are her fond memories of her sister Willow getting engaged and marrying, and before 2 consequential promotions, Melissa Sims, who I believe was a teenager, dies on Olive's lot. The 2 following deaths are of her parents Peponi and Lerato Mwenda, who seem to have died as adults. More promotions, meeting rigor mortis, witnessing the death of a maid named Jessica Ibadi, who I'm pretty sure is another Tawny named after that. Kissing rigor, another death, now of Benjamin Cho, whose clothes seem to indicate he was an exterminator. Falling in love with rigor, she gets some extra promotions and ends up marrying the bad pun name guy named number 2, which she remembers as marrying a rich sim and him dying after a memory later. She still goes strong, reaching the top of her career path and meeting a younger sim named Hugh. Euthanasia. She then kisses Hugh for the first time, has 2 more deaths, that of Vicky Sims and Brenda Zaidi, added to her now 11th body count, marries bad pun name guy number 3, and gets to witness the death of both his brother Lou and of Hugh himself. This time, however, she has her very special wedding with none other than the Grim Reaper himself, who, should I say, I love Olive a lot. She keeps seeing her so often. Maybe she has loved the Grim since he appeared for her for the first time. All the tragedy in her life is just a way of seeing each other. Who knows? Another 2 deaths happen in her life, that of Nut Futa, the buggy sim on Sims 2, which is another story, and of Luke Smith, another teenager. She then gives birth to a child, and this child right here is the rightful owner of her large sum of money and house, which is Nervous Subject. I don't think she actually named the baby Nervous though. Even though he's called like that in The Sims 3, I'll keep my funny headcanon of his name origin part of his Let's Play, in which Nervous was a name he got in the orphanage he was sent to after Olive lost his custody, for being quite a little nervous child. Only Olive knows his true name along with the Beakers. The question is, why did she lose Nervous? I believe she still cares for him somehow, because she still rolls once for him and fears for his death, but really I think she's quite an unlucky person, and her notoriety for witnessing the death of everyone she meets tainted her reputation and made the Sim authorities think she is a dangerous person and not fit to raise a child. I think she regrets not looking for Nervous when he was a boy, and wants to get in contact with him once again, hence the bio suggestion. And I'll make sure she gets the last wish before she passes on and becomes, I don't know, the Persephone of the underworld. And her Spectre surname comes from her late husband, Ichabod, who also died shortly after she got married to him. Her sister Willow and her husband Creon also die, leaving a child named Ophelia Nigmus under her care. Her last death witness was of none other than of a woman called Lila Grunt, General Buzz's ex-wife. She did not know Buzz though, having the memory of meeting him as the recent one in her lifetime of death and chaos. And death follows Olive wherever she goes, so I put her turn-ons as supernatural and charismatic, and of course, she's not fond of people being nice altogether. Her one true hobby is unknown, and her interests are real high on money, environment, crime. Boy, Olive, you are a sus lady. Food, health, paranormal, weather, animals. She's also fond of politics and sci-fi and cares little to work and school, and on to culture, fashion, entertainment, travel, and toys. I just realized I didn't see her personality, so she's fittingly a Scorpio, max neat, medium shy to outgoing, and medium lazy to active, very serious and quite grouchy, having only 2 points in a nice bar. Very fitting. And at her work tab, she's a professional party guest level 10, but her family starts with a message of how much Olive wishes to retire. She has 4 mechanical skill points, 5 in charisma, and 5 in creativity. In her relationship tab, she considers Ophelia an acquaintance, and her lifetime relationship is way higher with her child, Nervous. She also doesn't really like General Buzz, and if we open her family tree, we can see Nervous being her actual son, her sister Willow, and her late husband Ichabod, still tied to her little icon. Willow and Creon's only child, Ophelia, is Nervous's cousin, something I quite enjoy knowing. Having quite a nerdy brain, I gave her some points in the knowledge aspiration tree, and gave her a fitting secondary of romance, mainly because she must have had a romantic heart somewhere, trying to marry off so many times and facing so many heartaches. For her lifetime one, I chose something like cult leader because of her bio and the eventual profession gifts she have, like having her landline connected to her man. Along with some extra one slots, she still wants to retire, and has some random others such as hiring a maid or calling Buzz to see if he'd like to throw hands at an old lady. And Olive, still iconic as ever, still marks the sim world all around her, making me wish someone could eventually revive her after she's gone. Well, that person won't be Ophelia Nigmus. As we see here, she's not really fond of Olive's cold ways, especially because Olive always says no when she's trying to go out with her boyfriend Johnny. Her bio reads, Ophelia's hobbies include hypochondria and monitoring the air quality. She worries about the future and the past and the present. Quite an isolated girl whose only company is a very grouchy and death-obsessed old lady, Ophelia is clearly not doing okay with her hypochondria and sniffing the air around, and she worries so much I just wish I could give her a hug, man. Her personality is quite stable though, being slightly more sloppy than neat, more outgoing than shy, more active than lazy, and kind of serious, but overall nice. She's also a Virgo and fit for a teen. Taking a look at her interests, she's very interested in money, environment, entertainment, culture, food, health, fashion, travel, and animals, and not quite as interested in paranormal, politics, toys, weather, and sci-fi, and having no interest in crime, sports, work, and school. We do not know her one true hobby, and I put her turn-ons as creative and sporty, fitting Johnny quite well, and bad reputation as her turn-off. And her memories are really good at first, having a decent childhood with her mother and father, meeting Rip and Johnny as a kid, and witnessing the death of her parents, which is not good. Moving to her aunt's house, growing up badly, and having romance blossom between her and Johnny. Being a family sim, she's got some points at her family aspiration tree, and I gave her the popularity as secondary, because I think it fits her best. In her work tab, we see she's an A student and has 2 logic skill points, and in her relationship tab, she knows the Smith family quite well, and is friends with Rip Grunt, and goes steady with Johnny Smith. Her lifetime relationship with Olive is quite poor, and she starts the game in a bad mood, with her social need being really low, along with her fun and energy. For her lifetime one, I chose something very niche for her, wanting to reach golden anniversary, since I believe she grew up seeing her parents die so early on and Aunt Olive being a widow so many times. She just wants to get that. Her wants are almost all revolving around Johnny, wanting to kiss him, invite him over, and surprisingly for a family sim, getting a job. So I locked that up. And, she's gonna need this after Olive passes away. She's also afraid of seeing a ghost because, she's in the Specter household. She's also 2 days from becoming an adult and still hasn't rolled the one to go to college. Because this is a base game neighborhood with kind of scripted events, she'll grow into an adult as soon as Olive dies. But I'm playing a single day for each household, so I'm kind of introducing all of the families in each round, and Olive's farewell will be in part 2 as time progresses in Strangetown. Let's start by making that last hopeful plea to Olive and ask her if she will allow poor Ophelia to go out with Johnny this evening.
Ina Chavolaka, si potogor, limu vanakash. Tolo, logo kushta.
And it's a no, as always. Following the notification the game just pushes you to, let's make Olive retire. And here it goes. Retire from a job that you worked your entire life on, being 2 days away from death. Quite a cry from help from Olive, who I believe should have gone for it sooner.
Oh, Plaguania.
Don't wait till you're this old, man. But a woman like her finds wanting to work again back in her want slots, rolling various career paths and wanting to get a telescope. And I'm not keeping her from spending her fortune. Also, if Ichabod shows up, it will be better to keep her aspiration meter flat when her time's up. And with her new telescope in her garden, let's take her to see the stars and... oh, she rolled the one to go back to her job. Great, 1 hour after retiring, Olive is now bored to literal death. Meanwhile, Ophelia is trying to get a little bit of social as much as she can, typing away in her aunt's computer, but I think actually calling her boyfriend would make her social go up a little bit better. And look at that! Olive has found her one true hobby, which is science. And maybe the yearning to buy a telescope was just her hobby side speaking up. Okay, call Johnny Smith. Talk to your heart away, Ophelia girl. You deserve it. I always got scared by the nighttime noises when the lot has a grave in it, like, oh crap, whose idea was to scare my poor baby self like that? And here, Olive gets a skill point in logic. That's neat. And also enthusiasm in science, which is also really neat for her. By now, she's quite cranky from standing at the telescope, so I'll take her to her favorite chair and just wait for the ghost to appear. Around midnight, Olive has had enough of her Queen of Darkness moment and goes to sleep, and here I am, just waiting for any ghost to appear like Boo Boo the Fool, because it's clear they won't appear, and I'm quite disappointed. Morning comes, and Ophelia is ready to be a semi-functional sim, and both Aunt and niece get off of bed and go eat some cereal together.
Rivloka jerky? Borg flanucha bago.
Studying her soul cookbook, Olive spends her morning doing her Olive stuff.
Hacha! Woo! Slav, lu, shakanu, fleesh, crab, lakahoop, shora, kikolaki, slav, lu, shakanu.
Tempted to spy on anyone that has badmouthed her all over the years, Olive's day ends up with her being herself once again, and Ophelia looking for a job. Which makes me think, which job is best for her? I want to give Ophelia something in the music career or the medical one, and here I'll see if I get any of them. Entertainment? Perhaps, but music fits her best though. Dance? I think Ophelia is more about singing and playing than dancing. Culinary? I like it, but it isn't those two. Hop? No. And slacker, which doesn't quite fit Ophelia, and well, she knows what Olive's career was, so no job today, which is a bad thing, but we'll keep looking. In the end of the round, I let Ophelia call her friend Rip, because she seems to be missing the guy. Today, we learned that Olive is still Olive, and Ophelia needs some serious therapy. But yeah, next time we'll head on to the Beakers.